This morning, Jaskirat Singh Sidhu stood up in court dressed in a black suit and tie and said 5 words: "I plead guilty, Your Honor." When he said those words, there was an audible gasp in the courtroom among the families who were there to hear those words come from his mouth. They had feared that he would say not guilty and that would lead to a prolonged court process and criminal trial.
I asked him what his position was, and his position to me was, I just want to plead guilty. I don't want you to plea bargain. I don't want a trial. Mr. Sidhu advised me, I don't want to make things any worse. I can't make things any better, but I certainly don't want to make them worse by having a trial. Jaskirat wanted to know that he's devastated. He wanted the families to know that he's devastated by the grief that he's caused them. And he's overwhelmed by the expressions of sympathy and kindness that some of the families and players have expressed to him, in spite of the fact that their grief is entirely his fault, and he's very sorry about that.
CBC News has obtained an agreed statement of facts on the case. It confirms Singh Sidhu blew through a stop sign and collided with the bus without even braking. Alcohol and drugs were not a factor in the collision, and it's believed he was not distracted by a cell phone. But even that, there have been previous cases shown that simple carelessness is not always considered criminal. That the Chief Justice has said even good drivers are subject to momentary lapses of attention. But in this case, Sidhu has taken responsibility. There will be 5 days of sentencing at the end of January, with many victim impact statements. Scott Thomas, the father of Evan, who died in the crash, says that just hearing the words "I plead guilty" has given him the closure that he needed, that he doesn't actually care whether Sidhu spends 1 day or 10 years behind bars.
He was guilty, he acknowledged that. That's all I needed to hear. The rest of the sentence doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. It's not going to bring Evan back.
Now, also at that sentencing submission, we will hear all the facts of the case, accident reconstruction, as the defense likely argues, for the lowest sentence possible for their client. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Melfort.